what is working and what isn't working with the technology, trying out some new stuff right now. So, again, this is Mondale Robinson, and I'm trying out new technology to see if everything is working properly. In doing so, I'll just be rambling for a few minutes. Um, I think the best thing for me to ramble about right now is probably Roy Jones and Mike Tyson's fighting tonight. That's right. Roy Jones and Mike Tyson will be fighting tonight. Black Male Voters Project will be hosting a little event, safe social distance event with the fight for about 20 folk. So we're super excited about that. Roy Jones and Mike Tyson, two of my favorite boxers ever, will be back in the ring doing their thing. And I'm sure it's going to be hilarious and violent. I know it's going to be hilarious because the weigh-in was funny. I thought Mike Tyson was going to trip over his own pants trying to take off his pants to get on the scale. And he got stuck in his shirt trying to come out of his shirt. But Mike said he's ready. He said making weight in the training camp was easy. Well, he said it was the hard part. The boxing is easy. So we'll see Mike made weight. Mike weighed in at 220.4 pounds, and Roy Jones weighed in at 210 pounds, which is not much off from his last professional fight in 2018 when he weighed in at like 199. So we're going to see a good fight. These are two guys who are extremely professional and great boxers. So I am certain that the fight tonight will be great. It's also going to be a great way for us to get Black Male Voters Project named out there to a bunch of black men in Georgia, so as to, one, entertain them with the fight and also share some bubbly with them, but also to talk about this runoff that we have in Georgia, these runoffs we have in Georgia. And speaking of runoffs, might as well switch speed. We have we have two black men running statewide in Georgia right now, Daniel Blackman, and also we have Raphael Warnock, who is running for the Senate. So we have two reasons that black men should be super activated this election cycle. But we know that the candidates themselves have work to do because it's not only on black men to ensure that we are prepared to vote for candidates who are not speaking our languages, who are not talking about our issues, who aren't prioritizing our needs. So we have a short window from now through January the 5th, and early voting starts before then. It starts December the 14th. So we know that if these brothers are trying to earn, I'm talking about Raphael Warnock, also, other candidates that are running as well, not just the black men that are on the ballot. But if you're trying to earn the vote of black men, you should treat the black men like you treat conservative white leaning voters, meaning you guys prioritize these voters so often, and it's usually to the detriment of us winning elections. We saw this in states like Florida this election cycle. We saw it in North Carolina and South Carolina, where consultants had candidates spending money on traditional campaigns. And the outcome of that was, and people try to blame people try to blame those problems on progressive ideas, like defund the police, like the Green New Deal. But in actuality, that makes no sense because all over this country, if you look, progressive ideas won at the ballot. Progressive candidates won at the ballot. What lost was milquetoast candidates running these traditional campaigns, trying to court conservative-leaning voters, being afraid of progressive ideas. A great example of this is Florida, where we saw $15 an hour pass overwhelmingly as a ballot initiative, but we also saw these Democrats lose seats in Congress. That happens when candidates are afraid to be progressive out loud. Progressive candidates didn't lose anywhere. Actually, I would argue that progressive candidates picked up seats all over this country, i.e. what happened in New York 16, i.e. what happened with Cori Bush in Missouri 1. So I'm just telling you all to buy into this idea that progressive ideas is costing the Democratic Party seats in elections is simply to continue on a narrative that does nothing to benefit all of us. So we have the opportunity. Good morning. Good morning. I see some people saying good morning. We have a wonderful opportunity right now to make sure that we don't do harm to candidates, down ballot candidates, by being at the top of the ticket, not running proper elections. What I mean by that, we have a candidate in Georgia, for instance, Daniel, who is a black man from an important part of the state, Muskogee. All of the state is important, but Muskogee is going to be extremely important in this election because we need high turnout. And once we get it down there, it'll be a great marker to let us know that turnout is going to be in our favor throughout the state, right? So if we have candidates at the top of the ticket that are talking about, I don't support the Green New Deal, I don't support defunding the police, and then you're running ads with police officers, and you're also doing other things that are detrimental, you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting that candidate's chance of motivating folk to go out to the ballot. So let's make sure we're not doing harm to our own selves by catering to conservative leaning voters who will never vote for you anyway. This myth that you can convince white conservative voters to come back to the Democratic Party died 40 years ago, and it's not been reawakened. It's not, it's not the Frankenstein. Like it's never going to be alive again. Conservative voters, white conservative voters, will vote Republican like they always have, and by always I mean for the past 40 years. It's a demographic that we have not won, and to continue to reach out and try to court them is to the detriment of your base, black voters, brown voters. When you're talking about, I don't support defund the police, you're talking in Republican talking points. Even if you believe that your base is not there yet, the idea that you can run an ad with 7 police officers talking about you don't support defund the police is bad for black men. It's bad to turn out black men, because if you don't know this, if you're between the ages of 18 and 29, one of the leading causes of death is cops. So to black men, you're literally saying to them, I'm not courting you. I want more of what can kill you on the streets. That is bad politics. That is bad strategy. Tell your white consultants that they're failing epically at reaching your base. All right. So again, you all, I'm just testing this technology and running my mouth while I do it. I started out talking about the fight and led to a runoff. I don't know how I did that. Some kind of magic. Also, I don't know if you all have been paying attention. Americans are still dying from COVID at alarming rates. And we have a president who is acting like a child and not paying attention to that as we spike. I think the number was over 200,000 for the Thanksgiving holiday. So, folk, please take care of yourself. Be safe. Make sure that you are doing what's necessary to keep not just yourself, but family members and other people, other Americans safe, even though this administration is still busy trying to steal an election and avoiding this pandemic that we're living through. So again, I'm testing out technology and just talking to see if it's working. I actually see comments. Good morning, Antonio. Good morning, people. Someone said, we are not Americans. We are not Americans. We are held hostage by colonizers. Mark Shields said that. Let me push back on Mark Shields. Mark, I think you're stuck in a history that is no longer the truth. We are absolutely American. America is amazing as a country. It has problems and flaws, absolutely. American is amazing as a country because of the blood of my ancestors, blood of other folks' ancestors. So to believe or to say that we are not American is to deny what we fought for, what we died for, and what we built. Our ancestors I'm talking about. So I also want to tie this back to politics too, because so many times people say, oh, we should leave the Democratic Party. We should divorce the Democratic Party. I don't think progressives should divorce, or black people should divorce the Democratic Party, because we made this party what it is right now. And if people have a problem with it, if people want to court conservative voters, we should figure out a way to push those people out of our party. This is our party. Why give up all of this infrastructure that we built? This is our blood, sweat, and tears. So if we're going to be a big tent party, we push out those folk who want to court conservative voters and keep this for ourselves. I'm not for that running back. Like people say, oh, go back to Africa. We shouldn't. I love to go to Africa to visit. And stay extended periods of time. But this is mine. I'm not leaving here. This is mine. So this idea of going back gives too much infrastructure away that we built. And I don't know if that's a smart way to move forward in politics, nor do I understand if it's a smart way to move forward in living in general. I don't secede. I am not giving up what I fought for. So the Democratic Party belongs to me and other black folk and other progressives. If neoliberals want to think that they're going to take this party with all of this infrastructure already built in from us, they're crazy. They're out of their mind. We're not giving this away. So let me read some more of the comments as I read here. William Ben said, what up, Mondale? Can a progressive win in a place like Kentucky and West Virginia. They should, but aren't. Why? Well, that's a great question. There is absolutely possible for a progressive to win in Kentucky. Let me give you a great example of how we know this. It cost Amy McGrath $40 million to combat, excuse me, $40 million to combat what Charles Booker was doing, and that brother only had $900,000 about until 2 or 3 weeks before the end of that election when he was able to get a couple million. So if it cost them $40 million to run this milquetoast candidate, why not just spend those resources on someone who's excited the base? We saw what happened in the primary. More black people voted in for Charles Booker in the primary than almost damn near any election. I think even maybe more than 2008 or equal to that. So that we're saying without a presidential election being on the ballot, a progressive was able to do what no other candidate could do since 2008. So that tells me that with the little resources that he had, he was able to almost match Amy McGrath with $40 million. The party is not even looking at it as good investment. That to me is ridiculous. It's this idea that white candidates are more electable that is killing our party and also our chances of winning states like West Virginia and Kentucky. If you think about it, if we excite our base and we maximize voter turnout, nearly half of the black men in Kentucky have not voted in 5 consecutive elections. That's not the brothers who aren't registered. Those are the brothers who are registered. And that's also not a critique of black men. That's a critique of how we play politics because it's so transactional. People aren't engaged because they don't see politics as correcting the problems that they're living with on a daily basis. Those problems are real problems. These are basic need problems. People don't have adequate water, clean water, adequate clean air. They don't have housing. They don't have enough money to live, meaning they are underemployed if they are employed. So all of these things are important because if you don't have your basic needs met, it is impossible to believe that you can do something that is seen as self-actualization, such as voting. So yeah, let me see. Mark has a rebuttal for me. Mark said, "No disrespect, King, but we were here when Columbus arrived to America. We were the first. We weren't the first. Indigenous people were the first. We should acknowledge that. And I hear what you're saying. I've heard this argument many of times that black people were here when Columbus got here. That isn't to say that we weren't stolen from Africa is beyond inaccurate. It's ahistorical and it's dangerous because it's rewriting a history that is super important to who we are and how we show up in the world. The narrative that you're saying it's a manipulation of what factually happened, brother. What really happened was there is some evidence that black people from Africa may have come over to what we call North America now to do business with the native folk, but they didn't stay. They didn't occupy this land, and it's important that we note that. Also, I also, as someone who loves history, I don't buy into the idea that we should be telling this false narrative about how we got here because it let certain people off the hook for some of the greatest crimes against humanity ever. What else is in the chat box? Let's see. Good morning. Cornelia said good morning. Good morning, brother. Thank you so much for saying that it's not progressive ideas costing Democratic election. Oh yeah, that's a fact. Like we just need to. We should literally be progressive should be pushing back hard on the narrative that we are responsible for Democrats that lost seats. I heard Clyburn say that. Somebody let me tell y'all the myth of Clyburn. The white consultant class have y'all believing that Clyburn is the reason Joe Biden won the South. That is absolutely incorrect. Clyburn does not move voters out. Maybe some people in South Carolina are moved by Clyburn endorsing Joe Biden, but that energy from Clyburn in North Carolina is a myth, in Georgia is a myth, or even in Virginia is a myth. Clyburn did not deliver the South for Joe Biden. What happens is black people are a routine people who aren't interested in something new. Bernie took the 4 years in between 16 and 20 to engage with Latino communities heavily and build relationships over there, which is why you saw increases in Bernie support in Nevada from the Latino community, but not black communities. Black people aren't into new white people coming into their community. That is scary and also dangerous if you think about our history in this country. So Bernie, instead of coming to South Carolina like Joe Biden did, he dumped all his eggs in Iowa. And he did the same thing in 2016. So there's no rapport in the South in Black America, because most Black people live in the South. There's no rapport with Black America and Bernie Sanders. And this idea that a white man screaming at you, saying what he's going to do for you, and you should follow him, makes no sense to the lived experience that is the Black experience in this country. That's what lost Bernie to South, not to mention the lack of investment in Black voters and also issues important to us. So let's see what else we got here. All right. Okay. So I just see some people saying, hey yourself. Hey. All right. So, all right. Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm just testing out technology. If there's a topic you want me to talk about, throw it in the chat. I'm more than happy to keep going. I'm literally just, like I said, up here trying out some new technology and don't mind talking about it right now. I'm super excited about how white supremacy is looking right now as it pertains to Donald Trump. As it pertains to Donald Trump and how he show up in the world, and how he's putting all of white America on blast. Those that are supporting him, white to me. Let me just say this. There's what's up, Trudy. There's two type of white. There's this skin color white, but then there's mentality that's whiteness, and that does not stop at skin color. There's some Black people who have a whiteness mentality. It is whiteness that buys into the idea of white supremacy, that white people are superior, that don't see any harm in slavery or all of the things that followed slavery in this country and how Black people were treated. That is dangerous. That is racism. Whiteness is racism. So we are obligated to call out whiteness at every point of our lives, because when we don't, we become co-conspirators in that whiteness, and you don't have to be a white person to do that. So when I say whiteness, I'm talking about this. I'm not talking about the entirety of white people. Let me just say that to be clear. So Donald Trump has put whiteness on blast. The silliness that is playing out after the election is unbelievable, and the fact that so many people are still supporting him and still refusing to accept the results of 80 million people voting against a president. 80 million people voting against a president is absolutely ridiculous to me. And it also shows to what levels white supremacy will go to hold on to its preconceived power. It's beautiful though, because for my entire life, white supremacy in this country was 400-0. So at least we got us a victory right now. We saw that the new American majority that Steve Phillips so adequately talked about has delivered the first blow to white supremacy in 400 plus years, and I'm excited about that. Sugar Booger asked, how do you personally counter the argument that our votes don't really count? Well, there's tons of ways to counter that. The Supreme Court already ruled that there cannot be a member of the Electoral College that vote against the popular vote in their state. So to say that our vote doesn't count is to discount that, and also it's super important to note that when we talk about voting not counting, that's usually a federal election conversation, and also people misunderstand. Your vote not counting or the Electoral College conversation only applies to the president. The president is one elected official in a country that has more than 15,000 elected officials. So every other election is a popular vote election, meaning every vote counts for one vote. So it is a grave misunderstanding of America's politics to believe that your vote don't count. We vote more than any of our counterparts in any other country, and in all of those elections, with the exception of the president, every single vote is counted to every single legal vote is counted. That was me being coy a little bit, but so my counter to that argument is simple. That is a lazy way to opt out of our civic duty. Your vote absolutely count. And people, I'm not saying people should dive into the history of America and what it means to vote, because I know folk are living with their backs against the wall, but we're obligated to push back on it because it's not factually, it's not accurate. And we have plenty elections that are won by 200 500 votes, 1,000 votes. We saw what happened in some of these, even in the presidential election. Some states were eked out by very small margins, and to the point where recounts were ignited. So I'm telling people the idea that people saying your vote don't count is probably comes from, if you did research, it's probably birthed in someone who don't want you voting, someone who has no good intentions for you or your community at hand. So I would push back on it just by saying that your vote absolutely does count. Adam said, "Do American politics is like the pre-French Revolution, or do you think America is like pre-30 Germany and Joe Biden will be Paul von Hindenburg for America?" I don't, Adam, I don't think any of those things are right, because all of those revolutions, and also all of those revolutions and or old governments were based on homogeneous societies, and America is not that. So I think there's too many complexities and too many communities that have needs that need to be addressed, and old harms. So I don't think America's at a point where we're talking about approaching its politics in any way like a hegemony society. Or homogenous society, meaning that all of those people in Germany were white, all those people in France were white. Joe Biden must correct too many of the problems of the minorities. And I said I'm gonna stop using that word. Too many problems of the oppressed people of this country before we can move forward. And because of that, I think America is something new. This America has the opportunity to show itself something new, especially if we win both of these Senate seats in Georgia, because we will have the opportunity to first pay black farmers for the harms the USA did, which is extremely important. We have the opportunity to eliminate student debt, which can spur the economy better than anything else probably. We have the opportunity to really tackle this pandemic and save some American lives. We have the opportunity to address reparations in a real way. An opportunity, Biden said he's going to spend $1 trillion or so on the Green New Deal, well, they didn't say the Green New Deal, but the environment. We have an environmental czar, and that too is a racial issue if you think about it. Who's mostly affected by our fucked up environment in this country. So I'm telling you, neither France after the revolution, nor Germany, because Joe Biden is not dealing with a homogenous society. He's dealing with multiple people who are oppressed by this government that are old things that this government, Joe Biden's government, must address so as to create a new. Where are we at? Let's see here. Shamar says, was that this year that the Supreme Court made the decision regarding the Electoral College and the popular vote? It was. It absolutely was, sis. Again, you all who just tuned in, I'm literally just texting technology. If you have any questions, please let me know. Let's see. So about William Benz. It said, so about the Senate races, even if the Dems win, you got the mansion, that's true, and Tesla's outside of on our side. What can Biden really get accomplished? I mean, something substantive. He'll have the same problem Obama had. I don't think so. I think Obama's problem was, well, so first of all, let's just call a spade a spade. I feel like Obama was and this is also partially my critique of Obama right now, are with 2020 eyes, meaning perfect vision, and also the year 2020 and looking back. So we always have to remember, looking back on history, it always seems as if people weren't progressive enough. Excuse me. For my liking, and even in 2008 and 2012, Obama wasn't progressive enough. However, he was definitely the better of the candidates. I would say this: Biden's has to be a lot more progressive than Obama was, because of the time and also how he got here, and also where we are now. Obama didn't say some of the things Biden already said. Obama didn't say anything about the racist nature of America. The only time Obama slightly apologized for America or racism was in Kenya, and he didn't really do it there. So when he was talking with Uhuru Kenyatta about the tragedy of America's history. So Biden has already talked about things that Obama never said during the 8 years he was in office. And I think the politics will reflect that. We weren't even talking about a Green New Deal when Obama was in office. So I think we're farther along than we were in 2008, 2012 when Obama was in office and elected. And I think Biden like already talking about uh, ending cash bail and the marijuana the marijuana decriminalizing marijuana and expunging records. That's light years compared to where Obama was. So I think we've already seen promises that are more progressive than what Obama was, and I think we will get something different if we win the Senate. Even with West Virginia, Joe Manchin, I think Manchin he's problematic for sure, but I think he's a Democrat still. And I don't think he's no different than some of the other ones who are listening to the consultants who tell them what they have to say because their constituents need something. I am one who argues that the constituents in all of these states are more progressive than their elected officials. The consultants got to believe in something different though. Where are we now? The family is when Bush was elected, his brothers falsified votes in Florida, and we're not too stupid. Mark, no one falsified votes in Georgia. In Florida in 2000 elections. This is the Bush and Gore election, brother. I am one who loves. I love truth. So I can't even stand for it. Jeb Bush did not falsify votes in Florida, and we can't think like that. If you got a problem with the Florida election, you should blame Al Gore because he conceded. He could have continued the lawsuit. But after 30 some days, he said this is enough. He didn't want to divide the country that way, and he conceded. If we wanted to continue to investigate the votes, Al Gore could have done that. He just conceded. And we have to acknowledge that our government gave space for Al Gore to take this to trial. He himself conceded. If he wanted to continue to fight, he could have continued to fight. I don't think anyone stole the election in Florida. I don't think Jeb Bush did that. I just don't. I'm not gonna go along with that conspiracy. I'm just not. So let's see what else we got. All right, I think those are the questions. All right, any other questions? I'm just up here talking, testing out technology, trying to see things. I got this new toy. Y'all want to hear something cool? I don't believe in conspiracies. Yo, this is a new tool I got. I said Obama could never say the things the first black president. Nah, Biden gets more leeway just for being white. In your opinion, I agree with you 100%. A white man absolutely does get more leeway than a black man. But I also believe that at its core, America thought that's because Barack Obama was the first black president, a black America, I should say, that his agenda was going to be one that looked more like the movement for Black Lives, the policies that they created. But Obama at his core was a centrist. I think Obama is a black capitalistic politician. And I think what happened was we didn't pay attention to how he showed up in the world in Chicago and also as an elected official there and also in the Senate. Barack Obama was never a progressive. He came in with a certain mentality and it showed. And I think being the first black president, he was already elected president. He could have said what he could have said anything he wanted to say. He chose to be the candidate that he was. He chose to be the president that he was, and it has a lot to do with what he believed in. And a part of that is the capitalist society, and also a centrist. Ideas are his ideas. He's not changed on that ever. And then it's also, I think it's also a testament to who he is when you see him divorcing himself from Reverend Jeremiah Wright when he didn't. To me, he didn't have to do that. That was too much capitulation to whiteness at that moment. Jeremiah Wright said something that was absolutely accurate as it pertains to America and how she had treated black folk. And for Barack Obama to say in one breath that Jeremiah Wright introduced him to politics, introduced him to God that he served, and for him to divorce him just because Breitbart or whoever played a clip trying to have a got you moment with Jeremiah Wright, to divorce him that easy said a lot about him and how he felt about his black religion or his black God, if you ask me. So I hear you, but I also think that some of this is Barack Obama in himself. Should the left focus on, this is from Adam, should the left focus on state races instead of federal elections? I don't think it's an either or, brother. I think it's both. I think what we need to do, though, for real, is to stop making federal elections, presidential elections, seem as they're more sexy or more important than state level elections than local elections, because we know what happens at the state and local level affect people immediately. And what happens at the federal level, while they are important, we sometimes forget that we have a lot of state rights in this country. And those rights are, give me 1 second. Sorry about that, y'all. Can you hear me? I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to mute real quick. I was trying to get things together over here, technology wise. But yeah, like I said, so I think there are issues at the letter state and also local level that we need to address more, that are more important than the federal, and we don't talk about them in a way that makes sense. For instance, if you are a black man in this country, police brutality is a massive issue for a lot of brothers. It's the most important issue. Addressing racist police departments. Well, guess who hires the police chief? The mayor. That's a local election. That's a local issue. So I'm telling people right there, if you have a problem with crooked police departments, that's not a federal issue. Federal the federal Department of Justice can step in extreme cases with consent decrees, but they can be addressed quicker if you unelected or elected a mayor that cared about black lives and fired racist police chiefs for creating racist mentalities within their departments. So yeah, let's see. All right. Vicky said, "Hindsight is 2020." I agree. Had Obama known what he knows now, I'm sure he would have done things differently. Yeah, I don't. I think to a certain extent, I think watching himself be called a liar, and I think part of it though is, and people might have a certain feeling about what I'm about to say, but I think it's the truth. Barack Obama, not like some black people, Barack Obama didn't have a natural skepticism of white people because he was raised by his grandmother, his grandfather, and his mother to a extent, and these people loved him, like loved him wholeheartedly. So this I can see good in whiteness, all the white people, was part of how he was brought up. Whereas for a lot of black people who have two black parents, we are looking at Barack Obama's idea of whiteness sometimes as problematic, right? And we just gotta honor that. Like there's no, I'm naturally skeptical of whiteness and white people that I don't know. I'm looking at them sideways at how can they harm me and how can I protect myself from them. That is my natural orientation. And it's just because of the way I was born, the way I was brought up, and how I lived, and what happened to my dad from because of white people, what white people did to my mom, and also what they did to me. I was 10. Me and my cousin Marquise were 10 the first time the Klan was chasing us, throwing bottles at our head. So we have a different inclination, Barack Obama and myself, to how I naturally and what I feel and infer about white people in general. So I have to learn from people's actions if I can trust them, not just based on I believe in humanity. Barack Obama, I don't think has that natural like distrust of whiteness and white America. So I think that's just something we gotta admit, and it plays out in his politics. Uh, what else? All right, that's all the comments I see over there. Let me look somewhere else. If you got a question or something, if you disagree with what I said, please let me know. Yeah, I don't think Barack Obama is naive. I just think a great example of this is Barack Obama bought into horrible tropes about black men. Vicky said she said all of that is true about Barack Obama's centering, but he's not naive. If he's not naive, Barack Obama had the opportunity to say black men spend more time with their kids than any other men in this world. Yet he went to Morehouse and talked at black men about they need to pull their pants up, they need to be better dads, and all of this is ridiculous. The world needs every person that is a man that have a child should be a better dad. Do something better than you did before. But when you're talking about spending time and interacting with your kids, hugging your kids the most, kissing them the most, black men are the number one across any demographic. And Barack Obama's tropes, playing into those tropes, talking at black men about how they need to show up for black women as it pertains to their kids, is a trope that is disgusting and also is based off of racist politics. And I would say it is the graduation of Reagan's Willie Horton's idea of the welfare queen and the black pimp. So I'm disgusted when I see that, and then I continue to see Barack Obama talking at black men. Great example of this is recently he talked about rap music being responsible for so many black men that voted for Trump, when in actuality there is no so many black men that voted for Donald Trump. Black men voted where they always vote, and the same percentage of black men we just need to admit that 13% of black people are conservative. And why is that a problem? 13% of black people are conservative. So, and Barack Obama's blaming it on rap music based on an exit poll, the same exit poll, Edison, the same company that did the exit poll in 2016 that said 54% of white women voted for Trump. And we know that was a lie now because, some of the other things in that exit poll that were also lies. Like 85% of the people the white women that answered said they had college degrees, and we know 85% of white women in this country don't have college degrees. So we're criticizing or critiquing black men based on a flawed exit poll, and we already know exit polls are flawed because they're not good markers of the general public. They're markers of people who are likely to stop and talk to people doing exit polls. So that is the tragedy, for sure, that we are dealing with when we have this president who Vicky and I agree with is not naive, but he went on TV so quickly to say that black men, because of rap music and what they say about the jury and whatever he said, and it's absolutely disgusting. And it's also showing that he knows nothing about the history of rap music, which is a protest music, and also the current state of rap music. Since Donald Trump started running for president, there's not been one positive rap song about Donald Trump. Not one. Since he started running, there's not been one positive rap song. So what he's talking about Donald Trump was pre Donald Trump running for office. Nipsey Hussle and YG set the tone when Donald Trump was running with F Donald Trump. And then after that, every rap song that mentions Donald Trump is attacking him. And it's so interesting to me that, Barack Obama puts out this playlist every so often, and his playlist had no black rappers up there. The only rapper he's listening to right now is Eminem. Yet this is a rapper who talks about killing his baby mother, his wife, killing his mother, driving off the bridge, all types of stuff, all types of craziness. And Obama's okay with that and never saying that white men are responsible for all these mass shootings because of Eminem. But he's so ready to say that black men supposedly voted for Trump because of rap music. This is my problem with his political alignment as it pertains to black men. All right, y'all. I've been rambling for a while now. I just wanted to test this technology. I might come back a little later. I'm gonna hop off right now. I don't know where you're watching me at because I'm streaming on Facebook through 3 pages. Black Male Voter Project. I'm on Mondale Robinson and also probably Clickbaity, I think. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube streaming right now. I'm streaming on Twitter right now on 2 accounts. So thank you all. I was just trying to check it out. I'll be back probably. Peace.